Hello, criminal justice class. My name is Ethan Connell, and today we're going to be talking about crimes against society. Now, first, we have to look at what crimes against society are. Now, crimes against society are defined by the National Incident-Based Reporting System as victimless crimes in which property was not the object, as well as representative of society's prohibition against certain types of activities. Now, what does that mean? I just threw a bunch of words at you, so let's break it down and try and make it a little bit easier to understand. What are crimes against society, except this time it's been translated from what I like to call legalese, or all those confusing terms and words that are made to trip up fancy lawyers. Crimes where there was no victim, meaning crimes where no one was hurt. There was no theft, robbery, or destruction of property for the purpose of destroying property. Property wasn't the main kind of purpose behind, the main reason behind the committing of the crime, as well as things the government doesn't want you to do for different reasons. The prohibitive part of that first, or should I say, second bullet point on the previous slide, basically the government wants to prevent the populace from doing certain things, so they're going to make certain things illegal. Now, the government doesn't want you to injure yourself, they don't want you to injure others around you, and they don't want you to damage either public or private property. They have a vested interest in preventing you from doing so, and they also want to prevent anything else that would otherwise negatively affect what I call the public space. Basically anything in the public domain, be it street corners or just the entire concept of disturbing the peace, going out into public. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. Now, why don't we look at some examples to try and make it a little easier to understand, because I just threw a couple of concepts at you, but you don't have anything to back it up with. So first we're going to talk about narcotics violations. Now these are victimless crimes, and they're also activities that the government sees as detrimental to society, so they fit two of those bullet points that I touched on earlier. They include distribution, manufacturing, and other drug-related charges. The government has a vested interest in preventing people from doing drugs. Drugs are bad. They don't want people doing drugs, so they're going to make it illegal to sell, make, and use drugs, making it a crime against society. Next, we're going to look at rioting. Rioting is disruptive to the peace, and there's a potential to damage not just property, but also people. I don't know if you've seen footage of the riots that are happening not just in our country, but across the globe. People are getting hurt, and the government wants to prevent that from happening. The government naturally frowns upon rioting. This is a perfect example of when I talked about earlier the public space. This is disturbing the peace. This is an instance of the public domain being interrupted and disturbed by an action which the government is going to naturally try and prevent. Next, we're going to look at curfew violations. Preventing youth from being out on the streets late at night is something that the government's going to try and do. And there's a potential for the damage to property. If you have a bunch of young kids who are out past 11 o'clock at night, be it 1 or 2 in the morning, they're not walking to the store to get a loaf of bread for their mother. They're going to do things that are going to damage property and potentially injure themselves and others. The entire purpose of curfew laws, they're going to try and prevent other crimes from occurring, because once you're breaking the curfew, if you're out that late, you have no reason to be out that late at such a young age. It's going to snowball into committing other crimes, be it trespass or graffiti or destruction of property, be it anything like that. Now, that's all I've got for you today, so let's recap some of the things that I said earlier. Crimes against society are victimless crimes. They're crimes where the government wants to stop you from doing something, and examples include narcotics, rioting, and curfew violations. And with that, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you for watching. This is Ethan Connell, signing out.